Hello, welcome. Today we're going to go over two games that I played, Morde and Nar. The Morde game was pretty long. It was really hard for the team to close it out. It was just mainly my team getting picked out a lot, so it's going to be more just me trying to explain how I could have done better. And I never really want to talk about my team. I more want to talk about what I could impact to make the most out of what my team's decisions have been, or what to do during my lane phase. So, that's what I'm going to do today, and let's get into it. Alright, so starting off this game, I'm playing Morde into Riven, and they have a red side jungle, we have a Kayn jungle. Those are really the only main important things for the first few minutes of this game, is that red side is a very high ganking jungler. So is Kayn for the most part, but he does like to farm quite a bit. So, what I was worried about going into this game was getting ganked by red side, and I was wondering what side he started on. I'm holding the top side river here by myself, and we'll just see if we can figure out where red side starts. Okay, so going in the lane here, what I notice is that when I walk up to the lane, I see Riven right here. And I see my bot lane setting up. In a few seconds, I'll see Blitzcrank here. So what this means is that their bot lane leashed, so that means that red side started bot side. There are games where neither laner's leash, and you have to make kind of like a guess as to where you would want to start and what lanes you would want to go to. And if you can get any deep vision down, that'd be really important. What I like to do into heavy ganking junglers is sometimes I like to shove the second wave so that I can get a ward down, and then I can look to catch the wave when it's bouncing back. But this game I failed on my execution a little bit. I thought about shoving second wave and then I messed up on that. But what I thought about going into this matchup is that I shouldn't beat her level 1 because Riven has really strong burst potential if it's played in someone on the right hand side. I think this person had like 300,000 points. It's not like that really matters, but that should give you a rough estimate on if they can perform on the champion. And I thought that they were just going to Q auto attack cancel, Q auto attack cancel, Q auto attack cancel, and take me down to like 300 health. But as you can see, as this lane continues, I got Q poked off on them and the wave, so I was starting to push by hitting them and the wave at the same time. Then the minions all targeted me, which means my minions are hitting their minions, and their minions are not hitting my minions. So those are two reasons why this lane started to shove out. I missed a few CS there, that was just bad play on my part, and then I got another Q poked off. So right here I'm starting to just get really nice trades, and I'll be able to shove in these waves. So what happens right here is I hit level 2, and I instantly start to walk forward. I try and get an E-pull, but what you need to pay attention to is that, especially in the champions with a lot of movement, like Riven, like anyone that has a dash up, or sometimes, not really a flash, but if you can position your abilities a little bit further away from the wall so that you can kind of go along the wall but still being able to touch their hitbox, it'd be a lot better. Because what happens here is if we play it, to slow it down, I just barely missed her, but if I was able to angle it upwards and she tries to Q in that same spot, I believe I would get her if I can line it up with the wall, and it just covers more ground and makes your skill shots a little bit easier to land. So, right now I'm just trying to shove in my second wave, but I ended up not shoving this wave very quickly. I shoved in second wave kind of slow, which means that I'm really in a bad spot right now. Right here is a really, really bad spot, because what ends up happening is these two minions get killed, and then she has a freeze right in front of her turret. What Riven does here messes her up real bad. She ends up coming in for a trade with me. Sure, it's not a bad trade, but she gets hit by both of my abilities and then my passive procs. We're both pretty low, and I'm closer to her turret. But what this means is that she is going too quick for her jungler to come and react to it. Because I'm pushed out really far, so I'm trying to trash this third wave so that I don't need to get ganked by the jungler, and I'm trying to get out of this situation right now. I'm in a really bad spot. She goes in before Retsai is even in position, which means I'm able to actually get a very favorable trade-off here, and I get a really nice yoink, knowing that she had no cooldowns up, into a Q. So I have first blood, and I burn Retsai flash. This should not have happened. I should have gotten punished a lot harder for only pushing the second wave and then having this third wave crash in a really awkward spot. But what happened is that she went in too early twice, so those two trades made it so that I was able to get a more beneficial trade-off. Alright, so now that we both died, I got my first blood, I pushed her into turret. I was looking to build Cedar's Arm Guard here, so I started building into that, since they had a AD top laner and an AD jungler, and Riven TP back to the turret. So now she's slow pushing it back into me, trying to build a big enough wave that I won't be able to freeze. What I noticed here on my way back to lane is that my Kayn started to get into a fight with Retsai, so I went to join it. I got a nice pull onto him. It was pretty close to missing, and then I picked up red buff and got myself a second kill. What happens here? Completely ruins Riven's laning phase. Ruins Riven's laning phase. And by that, I mean, this Zoe misses her Q, which is pretty funny. And then she wants to dive me here. I have no idea why she would want to dive me here. All that I have to do is I hit her with one auto attack, hit red buff, get the slow on her, and then she dies. So now I'm able to pick up my Cedars Arm Guard, and I'm really accelerated in this lane. I have Cedars, I have Book, and then I can TP back. I have a Flying Tome. And I TP back, and I start to freeze this wave. I'm level 4, she's level 4. I get this whole wave of minions, and I get to hold this in front of my turret. I mess up one Q here, which kind of pushes the wave pretty hard. It's coming up in a second. And from here, I'm level 5, about a quarter XP, and she's level 4, about a quarter XP. And levels get more XP as you go in the game, so continuously level 5 is more XP to get level 6 than level 4 is XP to get level 5 kind of thing. So now I'm just trying to force air off the wave, and I'm going to look to engage on her when I hit 6. I actually mess up again here with my positioning, whereas I know that I'm hitting level 6 off of these 3 minions, or at least I can make a rough estimate, and I end up walking into her and trading before I even hit level 6. So what happens is I can't comfortably hit my E and my Q on her because she has so much dashes. So why am I walking up before I'm even level 6 to go for these trades? So what ends up happening is I get put to half HP, and right here off of this minion I hit 6. It's part of the 3 minions that I hit, and I just instantly alter and I run at her. It's a lot easier to hit abilities when she has nowhere to go, so I hit a Q and I just hit 2 autos and she's dead. So I was able to take advantage of my level lead and having the freeze off. She should have just completely conceded this wave and just let it slow push into her and just collect the XP. That would have kept her alive, where she could look for an angle to come back. Alright, so right here, I get this plate. I shove in the wave, I get this plate, and the reason that staying for this plate isn't good is because A, I don't have that much damage, so it took me a while to do it. B, I didn't walk away while the minions were hitting it. What you can do is you can just auto-attack it a few times, and you see how much damage these minions are doing? Right here, I could have probably just walked away and then let the minions finish auto-attacking while I walked, and I got my reset. So the fact that I reset very late means that I had to walk quite far away so that she wouldn't cancel my reset, and since Riven is a very fast-clearing wave clear top laner, she's able to shove this wave all the way in, and then I miss 6 minions. So my XP lead isn't as big as it could be. What she does is really dumb. She just goes for a roam, and I ping it out all the way down. I believe. I ping out that she's missing. Yep, there it is, there it is, there it is. I ping out that she's missing a million times. I made sure that this Talon knows, and then she ends up getting nothing off of her rotation. So now I'm still pushing into her, and I'm going to look to try and poke her out, look to try and get a pull off, and wait for my ult to come up to try and kill her down. So what I'm doing here is I'm just trying to poke her under turret, trying to get her as low as possible. We're hitting some abilities here and there. The Qs are really the important ones. The E doesn't matter as much. It is pretty hard to hit because it is Riven. And I feel pretty safe here knowing that I have ult, and Retsai wouldn't be able to kill me, because I can just ult one of them and then it's fine and dandy. So I hit a nice Q there. I'm forcing her pretty low off of this turret, and I'm just trying to threaten her right now. So that was a really nice EQ. What I thought about doing here is I thought about ulting her, but it is a Riven, and you have to keep that in mind. She has a lot of outplay potential. She has an E for shield, a W for stun. She has the knock-up. She has the ult execute. So it's really scary. But what she ends up doing is this is mid to high plat right now, and she stays at 200 HP. And you know what's the worst part is when I step up, she runs away. So she stepped back, so she already lost that, and she used 3 Qs, which means she had no easy way to end up dodging half of my abilities at this point. So she ended up flashing, and she didn't have Q up in time to dodge my Q. So she misplayed insane right there. But either way, I would have been able to push her off of the turret and get another turret plate or get another wave. And that was really bad on her part. So right here, I get this control word and I back. What I thought, looking back at this, is that I shouldn't have gotten this control word. Why did I get this control word, right? I got it so that I put down this ward so that I could keep tabs on her and see what she does with the wave and see if she recalls later. What I could have done is I put the ward down here, and then I just recall in front of her face. It doesn't matter, she's not going to get here in time. And then I can get back to this wave a little bit quicker. So I ended up missing about 3 minions because I decided to stay around for 4 auto attacks on a control word. And then I'm again pinging her all the way down when she's rotating to mid so that my team knows that she's going for a play. She ends up going over here, and she actually ends up dying for it, which is insane. So what happens here is, since I see her mid, I was starting my fast push, and I shoved it all the way into her turret, and then I started to get the next plate. And then the next plate. So at this point, I collect this wave, and I'm looking to get a reset or get vision. What I wanted to do is, I think at this time I just wanted to get vision since I didn't have enough money for anything, and what happens here is kind of funny. If, in retrospect, this Retsa is dead as hell. Like, dead as hell. But what happened for me is I didn't see her coming, and I turned the corner, and I physically jumped. Like, I jumped in my chair, because I was so spooked. I wasn't ready, and I stepped back. And I could have just murdered her, for sure. Like, it was, like, I had ult and everything. It was not hard. And yeah, that could have been a double kill for me that I missed, and that was my big mistake. Of just, you know, having a jump scare. And Riven just leaves the lane again, so now I just naturally go and deep it at the turret. And we go push in this wave. Since Kane's coming in, he gives me some space that I'm feeling pretty comfortable. I had ult up regardless, so either way I wasn't going to die. And now we're really strong. So when we're really strong on the map, we're looking to accelerate our advantages into other lanes if possible. But at this point in the game, it's not quite possible. I could have walked down here, but I had no idea that this fight was even going to happen, right? Like, what is telling me that this fight's going to happen? It's just a platinum game. Everybody likes to be bloodthirsty. It's a minute before it's right, and maybe I could have just walked down here, but I would have missed a giant wave that was building in my lane, and it would have not been worth it if the fight went not in our favor. Because then I would have missed so much more, and I wouldn't have been able to do anything on the map after, because I would have been decelerated. So right here is a big play where I should have TP'd to. I did TP, but here's the thing, I TP'd a little late. So I wanted to wait until the Xayah committed more, but what's the point in waiting for that? My TPs need to be a lot quicker and a lot more solid. Once you see them commit, and once you see this Blitzcrank walk up and this Ret side walk up, just TP here. You zone out Xayah. If she walks up, you can kill her. And you can disengage this fight so it's a little bit more favorable in your team. Especially when you see the third top laner just TPs down. I didn't see this at the time. I TP'd in thinking that I actually went first. I wasn't sure. And then I was able to pick up this kill on Blitzcrank. And my team got killed behind me. And I had to walk down, see if I was able to help out Zyra here. What happened here was actually very unfortunate. Zyra got hit by a bubble. And I tried to tank it for her, but trying to tank this for her is so useless at this point. Because she just dies to it, and I get hit by it too. So it's a 2-for-1 kind of thing, where we get pushed even further behind. Right here, I'm just trying to see if I can hit any abilities, but I'm not very good. I picked up the kill onto Riven, and I needed to flash this bubble. I wasn't able to react quick enough to flash the bubble, and once I got hit by the bubble, I was dead. So she just hits me with the drowsy, and then I throw out my W trying to salvage that, and then I flash after. Which means that, yeah, sure, I was able to pull them in. That didn't do anything, though. So now here, I ended up losing Dryden. Can just mechanically messed up, it's okay. And the game's in a lot more of a rougher spot. I go back top lane, and I picked up this wave that was crashing after I shoved it into their turret, so they missed all of the CS once it crashed on the top lane. My team's still picking up random kills. It's platinum. We're just fighting all the time at this point. This game was very weird. And I look to walk into their jungle to try and see if I can steal camps or anything like that. What ends up happening is I find Xayah trying to take red buff. And it's not her day, to say the least. So, that was super unfortunate for her. And then I get to walk up to Riven. What happens here is what happens when you don't hit tab. I hit this Riven with an ult, and she QSS'd. So she delayed her build by quite a bit, and she ended up having to buy QSS, which is good for me, which means she's even more further behind, and I'm not really looking to alter coming into this mid-game anyway. It did keep her alive this one time, but what is she going to do to me anyway, right? And now my team's fighting down here. I'm not able to do anything because I'm not able to walk into that kind of team fight. And from now, I'm just trying to cover my team because I think random fights are going to happen. A random fight does end up happening, and Riven is trying to engage on me since they have the numbers lead. I play very well mechanically this game, and I'm very happy about it. For the most part, I did a nice Zonias to dodge the Riven ult. I got hit by that Zoe Q, but I hit a really nice EQ onto this Xayah, killing her off. And then, I'm back here with red buff, it's healing me up. With my passive, it's healing me up. And I'm able to actually see that red side goes into this fight. I come back to help out. Talon picks up the kill, and I hit another really good EQ onto this Zoe. I want to replay that real quick. And this is really good for my tempo. It puts me even more in the lead. I just hit some really nice abilities. So then right here, Kayn made the call to go for Herald. I was all on board. I was pinging it earlier, and I wanted to actually pick up this Herald, but Kayn had Platinum Brain and didn't want to give it to the split pusher. So, what happens when you do that is I went top lane, I wanted the split push, and then I see him put a Herald down. So, right here, I walk all the way down, and I show up because I knew that there was going to be a team fight over this Herald. Meanwhile, if he gave me Herald into the side lane, I can get this turret, and then I can get the crash onto this turret, since I'm so strong. So what I end up doing when I show up to this fight is I ult this red side. What I'm able to do is I'm able to kill the red side, and then look to pursue after the team. So I'm able to run at them. I get a really nice E. Right here, something really unfortunate happens, but kind of cool, is I hit this Q. Oh, that's kind of funny looking. And Zoe was a millimeter out of it, and she would have died to it. But what else is unfortunate is that this recall in mid that I did after that one big team fight means that I didn't finish my item component into getting my Demonic Embrace, and Demonic Embrace does damage over time, and it would have killed off Riven here for sure. So that was really unfortunate. I used a flash for nothing, thinking that I was going to be able to get that kill, but then Blitzcrank was a homie, and he let me go in. Xayah was playing with massive balls, and then she got murdered. She straight up did not get to exist. We got Zoe's flash, and then here I go into the drag, because no one else is on the map. I am taking it in my own hands to try and accelerate this game, and then I start recalling, and I get my Demonic Embrace. So right here I go bot, because I know that the next objective coming up is Baron, and I want to split push, and I want to try and get my team ahead that way. So my team ends up baiting the Baron. They get a kill off on Rek'Sai, and then I get to push up bot lane. I don't want to TP here because we don't even need to do Baron. At this point, I'm getting enough pressure bot lane that I can just get this turret, and then I can take jungle camps. I take this wave, and I go and look for jungle camps. And then this fight is really bad for the team, and really bad for the game. So what happens here is that Zyra got caught out. Now, I'm walking into the fight. He already got taken to half HP. I'm looking to try and find an angle to get in here, but it's not looking very good. I need to walk out right here, or I need to just group up with my team. I hit a Q, I get hit by her W, and I don't use my shield before getting hit by her Q again. Lucian went in like a madman, to be honest. He just completely said, I'm going in by myself, I'm going to win this game right here. And it did not pair well for the team, because he just said, flip, yep, I'm going to E-Gale Force into a Blitzcrank. And then he got knocked up and killed. And then Talon went in by himself, forgetting that Zhonya's is an item, and then he got killed. And then me and Kayn tried to help out Talon, and I didn't give enough respect to the Blitzcrank, so I ended up getting pulled, and I wasn't even able to ult. What I should have done right before I'm in this situation is I should have ulted this Rek'Sai when he came in, and then that way I would have been able to probably get a pentakill here, just because I would have stolen Rek'Sai's stats, and then I would have been able to get some nice Qs and ease off into their back line here. So now we're in a really rough spot. Zyra was able to get the Rek'Sai, but then they both died, Talon and Zyra. So here I go top lane. I don't have, well, I have TP up still, but it's been pretty obvious that my team wants to go for these plays. At this point, I was slightly frustrated because it was just constantly getting caught out. So I was just like, okay, we'll do Baron, and then I'll ult Rek'Sai, and we'll be okay. We'll be chilling. And then right here, I should have TP'd to this play much earlier when I saw it break out. At this point, when I saw this happen, I thought that the play was off. I thought nothing was going to happen, so that way I'd be able to split push top lane. And then I know it's bad once I see this TP. But the issue is all that I had to TP to was this ward. So what I should have done is I should have TP'd to this ward, TP'd to the turret even, and then I would have been able to help out my Lucian and my Kayn. What ends up happening here is I show up to the fight really late, for the most part, and all that I end up doing is just kind of walking into an Everfrost of Blitzcrank and then walking at them. And it doesn't do anything for us. Like, what does this do? You know? I just walk in, I don't really contribute much to the team. If I was able to come into the bot side of the fight, I would have been able to help defend the Lucian, help defend the Kayn, and then I would have been able to get a really easy ult off onto any target that steps up to try and kill them. And I could have turned this fight for our team. So then what ends up happening is that since I'm so late, I end up walking down here, and I find a really nice E into Q. Blitzcrank hits a nice hook on me, pulling him over the wall, so I'm not able to continue chasing them. What I end up doing is I just ult Blitzcrank. I'm trying to just see if I can at least hit someone so that I can get some base stats so I can just get a little bit stronger. I hit a nice E into a Q, and right here I don't... Okay, I am able to W, so I'm able to chunk the Zoe ult, or Zoe Q. And I look for her, but she's quite fast and runs pretty far away. I'm now looking to just try and get this Rek'Sai. I do quite a lot of damage. I'm just trying to run him down. I hit a really close E, and it doesn't hit him, and I'm in Drowsy right here. And what you should do when you're getting drowsied or slept or anything like hard easily to vial, you can Q while it's going off. or you can do some inputs while it's going off if they have a channel time, and Mordekaiser Q does have a channel time, so I was able to channel my Q in the Zoe sleep, so I was able to catch this Red Sai off guard and take him out. From here, I was able to get some help from Zoe. I hit a nice Q flash, and I had a really lucky timing on this, is that my Zonias lasted just long enough that I didn't die to that Zoe Q, and Zyra hit a nice ult, causing her to go into Zonias, and I was able to pick up another kill. So that was a really big mechanical play for me, and it helped us get the next dragon. Now at this point, I'm pinging the Baron. I TP up after my reset, and I'm like, let's go, let's go. I don't have my ult up, but I want to hit this Red Sai out of this fight, so I start walking around because my ult's coming up. But what I'm thinking about back to now is that if we're able to put a ward over the wall, and then I can get his shield down, then I can ult him. What happens here is that he just jumps over the wall, and this fight gets put in such an awkward position where they might even be able to get the Baron. And what ends up happening is Zyra actually ends up getting the Baron, and I might have been able to ult this Zyra gets the Baron. I might have been able to ult this Zaya a little bit earlier when she was down here, but I wasn't able to do that, so now my team's just running at them, and I'm not able to catch them. They're just out of range. Instead of going for this turret, I end up just saying, yeah, I'll just go see if I can help out this game. And then I walk in, and I ult Riven for some reason. I don't do anything. I just kind of hover, and I look for a Q, and I didn't get anything off of it. So what we really should have done is just shoved in this top wave, let them come to us, and we could have looked to get more pits and start accelerating the game a little bit more. I might have even been able to finish soon. Alright, so what goes on here is another misplay by me, but for the most part it was still an overall good play. We were able to pick up this Red Sai, and then I just said, yeah, Lucian, I don't care about you, I'm going to go focus on these two real quick, even though they're pretty much guaranteed dead. And what ends up happening with Lucian is that he gets really unfortunately hit by that Riven Q, and he dies. And then we aren't even able to pick up Riven, because she just QSS's my ult and she runs away. So if I was able to walk down and help out Lucian, then we would have went forward for 2, I believe, and then we could have probably pushed out mid or bot. But now we're in kind of an awkward spot where Lucian ended up dying, and I'm not able to accelerate any further, so now I'm just looking for the reset. And right here, I believe I finished my build. I went Spirit Visage last item here, because we have an Ocean Soul coming up, and it gives us a lot of resistance, it gives us a lot of healing off of that, so it would be amplified. And then I also am just playing Mordekaiser, so I have a lot of Omnivamp from my kit, giving me a lot of innate healing, like, look at my healing, it's insane. But healing in champion combat, 1,661, yeah, it's pretty good. So right here, I'm pinging my team. I'm saying, be careful. I pinged on the Blitzcrank, and then they got caught out. And I should have TP'd this play. I should have TP'd earlier. I didn't exactly have a ward to TP to, I don't believe. It was pretty rough. I might have been able to TP into the pit, but that ward didn't last very long. I could have TP'd to this lane to run down a little bit earlier. But what ended up happening is my team kind of went in one at a time, and then I showed up pretty late. So at this point when I'm showing up, I need to try and pick off someone. So what I'm looking for is I look for that Q flash on his eye, I pick her up, and now I try and get this Zoe. So she Zonia's my first Q, I W her burst, and then she gets away with 1 HP. And I have my Zonia's that she kills me. So I give up my shutdown gold, it's really bad, and the game feels really awkward from here. We're almost at 100 kills in this game, which is kind of nuts. It's only been 33 minutes. I'm sitting at 16 and 5 currently. It's just been a complete slaughter. Everyone is just fighting all the time. People getting caught out everywhere. And now we just need to make a play to Baron and see if we can get pits. And it's not easy. So what ends up happening here is I respawn. A few of my teammates got caught out, so right now I'm just playing around the blitz hook, trying not to get hit by that. And then I'm just going to be trying to clear the waves and see if we can make a play once we all respawn. I'm pinging Baron soon. Yeah, I believe there it is. My camera's actually covering that, but I'm pinging Baron soon. And then I say that we need to go and make sure that they're not doing it, or we need to do it, because we're still pretty strong. I'm pretty strong at least. And they make the play that loses them the game right here. So Riven went in way too early. She didn't have follow-up. Zyra isn't even there. Not Zyra, Zaya isn't even there. And I was able to start getting a pull onto their blitz. I went after their red side, but she just died. So right here, I just get a really nice ult onto Zaya. And at this point, I am so flippin' fed that I just kind of walked up, missed my Q, hit her a few times with an auto attack, and she dies. And then, at this point, the game's over. And we just run it through mid. So yeah, Platinum is quite stressful sometimes, even when you're ahead, because you can make a lot of misplays. This game should have been done in about 20 minutes, if not less in higher elo. But it was a lot of bad macro calls that made the game much harder than it had to be. And a lot of bad TPs for me, just late or just not useful. Alright, so now we're jumping into game 2 here. I'm playing Gnar into a Camille. I picked, I believe, second. So my safe blind pick is normally Gnar. Gnar set, just some easy champions that don't have the biggest counters ever. So what I was doing in this lane is I decided to go Fleet Footwork into Camille because it helps you keep your distance from her when she tries to all in. And it allows you to just kind of speed after she hits you with W and outrun her Q speed as well. So walking into this lane, I try to figure out what she started. I try to figure if she started Q or W. I believe that if she starts Q, she can trade with me pretty hard, and I will just get roasted. But if she starts W, then I can get some... I can try and trade, and then she can try and hit me back to heal up from the trades that I do. So right here, she was really contesting for Prio. She was able to hit level 2 before me, but I get hit by this W, but this W doesn't really do too much. Like, she was already pretty much full HP. It didn't really matter. So I see that she's hitting level 2 off of this minion right here, so I instantly know that I need to keep my distance. She instantly levels up E, and I do a really weird Q. I just wanted to hit that minion, and she just hits me with one auto attack instead of hitting me with more than a full, like, more than what normally would happen if I got hit. If I got hit there, I get hit with the E, I get hit with an auto, and then into a QQ. So I lose like half my HP if I didn't give respect. What I do here is I actually don't like this. I don't like going W second into this matchup because having E second makes it so much safer. If she tries to E in, you can just jump away, and you'll see that in the later parts of this match, where you're able to just pretty much negate one of her main engages for free, and it's really good. So now I'm just trying to use Fleet Sustain, and I'm trying to level up. Since I noticed that my level 2 is really bad, it doesn't feel good. She's just being able to get free poke on me. Luckily, she doesn't E-engage on me, so I'm not really needing to worry about that. She should have noticed that I had Q, and then I had stats here, so I would never be able to dodge it, so I'd have to play completely the opposite side. So now I'm entering Mega, which means that I'm much safer into her. I hit level 3 off of that minion, and now she doesn't feel as safe to engage, so I'm able to step up a little bit more into the lane, and she gets a little... She walks back a little bit right here, trying to just worry about my Mega. So she did a really nice job of respecting me for the most part this game, except for one play that I messed up. Alright, so another part to mention that I didn't bring up earlier is that their bot lane went to lane early, so that meant that they were also leaving top side. So both the junglers are actually playing to bot side, which means that we are just kind of, we're 100% on our own island right now. We're mainly just in our 1v1. There is going to be no jungle contention. So Prio doesn't even matter that much, so it's not the end of the world that I'm getting pushed in. But what I do here is she tries to shove in this wave, and then she steps back, so I'm able to freeze this wave in front of my turret. I hold these 4 casters, and it puts her in a disadvantageous spot where I'm able to get some nice poke on her, and I feel very safe that she's not going to try and engage on me when I'm this close to my turret. So as I stated earlier, when she tries to E in, I need to try and E away, so what happens right here is that she goes for a pretty greedy E play, and I just do a quick little bounce back. What I should have done in retrospect is I bounce forward, so that way I can dodge the E, but I can also continue the play if I need to, and I'm only able to get 2 autos off here, and I won't be able to hit the third for the hyper proc, and I wasn't able to maximize my damage there, which is very unfortunate. But it was a good trade nonetheless, recognizing that her E is down and she is not able to get out, considering that she doesn't have flash, which she wanted to have higher kill pressure in this lane with Ignite. So now we just shove in this wave. Even though I don't believe we should have slow pushed it, but I kind of just got ahead of myself. I was just happy that she was low on mana, and I was just trying to get the shove in so that I could get a reset off soon. But it's never going to crash because the next wave is meeting. But I noticed that we pinged missing on mid. I also just noticed that Echo was missing to begin with. And I knew that he would never be able to kill me here, because what kind of lockdown did they have? She doesn't have ult, she just had E. So he just shows up for absolutely no reason. He's never going to kill me here. And I just waste his time by playing aggressive still. So then right after that, I still have vision here, I still have a ward, so I just go right back into playing aggressive. I know that Camille's pretty low on mana, she isn't able to do too much to me. She misses me with a W, which puts me in a really advantageous position. I get some really nice poke off, and I see Udyr here, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to walk away and the same thing that I just did to Echo, and then I'm just wasting their time. So then, I do that. I put another ward down, and I just go straight back to my wave. So, here's one of the biggest plays that I could have done that would have changed this game for me. Is, I wanted to make this play where I hit sits and I alter into the wall. And I get a free kill. So, she hit sits here. I wanted to bait her in. I wanted to keep the wave in an advantageous position. And then I wanted to walk up with Mega and alter into this wall. But what happens is, I end up hitting this minion. I hit sits, but I'm not in Mega yet, right? So, I'm just kind of walking at her. And I'm making it very obvious what I want to do. And I open with Q instead of opening with alt into this wall. And then I W, and as I W, she does a good job of buffering her E. So I'm not able to pit the kill, I'm not even able to alter. So what I end up doing is I force her TP out. And the way that I do that is I group all the minions, and I hit them with my full combo, ulting them into the wall, and forcing her to TP to this wave, or she misses its minions. And now I get to reset. I walked really far here. In retrospect, all that I needed to do is walk to this bush, or walk to this bush, because she has to take all these minions out anyway, so she won't be able to get to me in time. If I just started recalling around here, I lose about 6 seconds, and in those 6 seconds, I end up not being able to make it back in time to even freeze the wave. If I was here, this is less than 6 seconds, right? I could be here, and I could just catch this wave and freeze it and delay her recall, and make her not be able to bat here, and then I can just stay on the map with a lead. But now, I'm slow pushing out into her, which is what I don't want to do. And I'm finding myself in a little bit of an awkward situation, so I need to just try and last it and slow push. And I need to pick up vision soon so that I can make sure that Udyr isn't here. So now what ends up happening is I get to shove the turret in, but I wasn't able to get it in a state where I was going to be able to crash it into the turret. So I look to just get a trade-off on her before my meta runs out, because pretty much if you can time it correctly, your meta will always come up with your ult, and it feels really good. So I get her really low, and from here, I'm just looking to try and get her a little bit lower. I'm trying to keep her in the lane, and I'm trying to shove this wave in. What happens here is that my Graves ends up getting the Herald, and then he gets in a fight. I am not able to get here quick enough. Graves walks down, and Ryze isn't able to lock him down, so Graves ends up dying. I just kind of waste my time walking down here, but my wave is pushing into me, so I can threaten a freeze on her if she doesn't try and crash it. So I'm looking to poke her so that she isn't able to freeze, or so that she isn't able to crash it. And I'm looking to kill her here. I could have, in retrospect, walked up and canceled this back. I have my ult up, so I don't believe there's any way that she can ever kill me. My health difference is just too high. And I'd be able to walk up, cancel her, and even look for a kill, and just kind of hold this wave while canceling her, and it's really optimal. So it's my bad on not being able to capitalize off of doing that. So right here, I was actually looking for a recall, and this game I found that I TP'd once in like a 23-minute game, and it was quite later into the game. I didn't TP at all during the laning phase, and I feel pretty bad about that because I wasn't able to really accelerate my lead that way. So right here I was sitting on 1,200 gold. Before I hit the cannon minion and all those minions, I was sitting on about 1,000. So I wanted to bat with 1,200 so that I could buy my Iron Spike Whip, and I could just have a little bit more damage. But what ends up happening is I'm just freezing one wave into the next wave, and I'm not able to recall, and then what ends up happening after that is I end up getting Graves to come topside, and I have this wave starting to slow push into me. So when Graves ends up coming topside, we're pinging that we're just going to go on to this Camille. She is pretty healthy, but we do have quite a bit of burst. I have a lot of CC. I'm hitting Mega soon. I have my ult up, and she does a really bad job of using her E here. What she does is she just accidentally does it short. Ryze has a nice roam, and I'm able to E in. What I do here is I W first, so that if she gets hit by this W, she's guaranteed to get hit by my ult. If she dodges this W with her ult, she's guaranteed to get hit by my ult. She was just dead. At this point, she's already dead. And then from here, we use the prio to get this whole turret. So we get first turret top, and then I look to reset. So I'm resetting here with 2,700 gold when I could have gotten a reset off earlier. And I'm on the map now, and I didn't decide to TP this play because this didn't look like I would be able to do anything, because I was quite late to the TP. I ended up walking down here because my team just was making the plays on the other side of the map, and I just wanted to be able to pick up this bot lane, and the fact that Herald is coming up soon, I wanted Kai'Sa to be able to go top and put numbers advantage on that side of the map, because I still had TP up. I would be able to TP up and then help them contest the objective. What ends up happening is Kai'Sa goes mid, and then I have to ping Graves to go top so that we don't lose a lot of our turret. I see this Echo down here, and I believe that I could take him at this point, but I didn't want to over push because we were making a play on the top side of the map that no one was contesting, so I didn't want to have to make a play on the opposite side of the map and just possibly get caught out and punished for it where we lose bot turret. So now we see Udyr in our jungle, we walk up, and nothing really happens, but Eto forces my mega here, and then there's a fight that happens in our blue side jungle, which I thought a bit about this play, and I have TP up, but what am I going to TP to realistically, right? I'm going to TP here, and Eto's going to kill me while I'm doing it. And the only reason that I would do that is because I'd have mega up in time, and I'd be able to get to the fight, but this fight shouldn't have even happened this way. And by the time I did here, it's pretty much already doomed, and I'm already out of mega. They got into a really bad position, and their Lucian is quite strong at this point. He sits 6-0, Seraphine's 4-0, he's 7-0 now, and I needed to walk back a little bit more here. I ended up trying to stride break forward to dodge that. I eat away from this Eto ult because I had a feeling he would do it back, and then I stepped up again, which is really dumb by me. I was just trying to cancel bats. But what ends up happening, which is good, is that my boomerang on the way back, it hit him on the way there, I guess, and then I get a 1,000 gold shutdown on Lucian, which is the only benefit of that play, because that play was really bad for our team, and it pretty much guaranteed that we're on the bad foot now. And I said that we stale because we have a Senna, and we have a Rise, and we have a Graves, and Kaisa, which means we should have staled, but this game, as you can tell, doesn't last much longer. So what ends up happening here is that I'm pushing out top lane, and then I look for my TP play. I dumped some Medinar build up on the wave, and I'm walking in here. I'm just trying to jump out for a second. I'm trying to just give us some time since they already had a play going on Camille. So now I'm looking to try and get the Lucian and the Seraphine. What ends up happening is that I mess up my inputs a little bit here. What I do is I flash, and then I stride break it. And it's so slow. He flashes out. What does stride breaker do, right? Like, it's not going to do anything for me. I need to flash in and then instantly ult Lucian back, and then we can get the kill on Lucian. And I didn't even E until after, right? Like, the E was super late. It didn't matter. I could have flashed in, waited for his flash, and then I could have E'd out. And it wouldn't really did. Or E'd after. Alright, so now I went to top lane because our next objective is Baron, and I don't have TP, so I'm just going to try and hold this line. I'm trying to farm up. I don't think any fights are really going to happen unless we're really contesting over Baron. They were just contesting for vision on our top side, and I was just getting waves. Just messing with them a little bit. So right here I'm roaming all the way down to mid because my team is all going to bot lane. I don't have TP, so I need to be here as fast as I can since Camille's TP is coming up. I end up catching this wave. And I'm like, oh, I need to go mid to catch this wave, and I need to go top to catch this wave. But I thought about the Camille TP, but I didn't really actively think about the Camille TP. And I also didn't think that they'd get into a fight. So what ends up happening here is I walk halfway to top lane, and then I instantly turn my trek. But imagine if instead of walking halfway to top lane, I just walk down here. And I'm here for this fight. That Kaisa engages. So Kaisa goes in, and then gets completely one-shot. Now, at this point, we can't really win this fight. And I do another mechanical misplay where I walked into the Udyr instead of Eing away, and I also managed to get myself into the Echo W. So I just get one shot, and I couldn't even get out in time. And Camille TP'd down. So all I needed to do there was I needed to walk down earlier, and I needed to just try and zone for the Kaisa, or just ping her back, and then not get caught out by a horrible positioning. And then what happens here is pretty tragic. My team ends up getting caught out here, and then they end up getting caught out here, and then I'm respawning in 3 seconds. I try and make a play. I'm like, this doesn't look that bad. This is like possibly our only window back into this game. I just try my best to try and get some poke down. They're just really ahead at this point. It feels really hard. And then what happens here is really interesting, is that I E in, and I get stunned mid-air, but I wasn't even able to ult after this stun. So I was somehow still CC'd. And I wasn't able to ult until about a second after this. Like, it just took forever, right? Like, Camille was in it, and Seraphine was in it, and Udyr was in it. So it's very strange, because I got stunned, and then they all just got to walk out. Well, Camille got to walk out because of her Q speed, and then Udyr got to flash out. And I wasn't even able to kill Seraphine. So that was unfortunate. Maybe I just need to pay a little bit more attention to Udyr and just play around him a little bit better. But at this point in the game, it's more just talking about preventing what got us into this position, right? And yeah, at this point the game's pretty much over. It's just people getting caught out by Camille. I looked to try and E on top of him, but I didn't even bounce, so I just wanted to see if I could take out Lucian again, and the game's over. So that game, we could have definitely had better plays, better rotations. I could have TP'd more than once in a 23-minute game. Could have TP'd for lane. I just played pretty poorly in execution. All in all, I think the lane went pretty okay for the matchup, and I'm really enjoying how much I'm learning. My throat is getting kind of tired, though, of all this talking, so we'll see about that. Alright, so that's all, and I hope you enjoyed those 2 gameplay videos. I hope you learned as much as I did. It's been a really interesting learning curve going over my VODs and being able to review them and just get better at the game, all in all. And I hope that everybody enjoyed, and just leave a like, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I'm trying to grow the best of my abilities and just get some knowledge out there for more top laners and just people in general, because every lane has some stuff that I'm talking about. Trades, I'm talking about wave management, I'm talking about jungle tracking. It's all very important. So thank you very much. I hope you have a good night, and I'll see you around.